Here from the Merritt School of Business. I'm on a big research team. A big research team has 5 people on it. Maybe they'll show up on the screen in a minute. And what we're doing is I'm working with Greg Gaynor, who's formerly of UB, Ping Zhang, Kevin Lin, and Joel Morse. Our interest is basically student performance. And it's student performance under the realm of online testing. So we have web courses, we have face-to-face courses, we have online testing. We were generously supplied with ProctorU by the administration, and the concern came up: how will students perform when they're proctored by ProctorU versus not being proctored by ProctorU? We exploited a partnership between my lab and ProctorU. My lab is a product of Pearson Publishing. ProctorU is an online proctoring service that features, amongst other things, a video review and a browser lockdown system. It's not perfect. It was cheap, and we used it in UB typical fashion moving forward. A lot of people think that you did this to prevent cheating. And we consulted the literature, and we became very interested in that. And yes, we do use it to curtail cheating and to promote academic integrity, because at the end of the day you have somebody sitting out of a classroom taking an exam. We have a camera on them, etc., checking for violations of the academic integrity idea. And most of the literature on this, and there is a literature on it, talks about a 15% score differential. If you take 2 students, other things being equal, the proctored one and the unproctored one, the difference in scores will be about 15%. Now that creates a number of problems. Our concern was not so much with a difference in performance per se, but what causes that difference in performance. And the hypothesis that we have going into our work is that that cause of that difference in performance, or one of it, of course, is student anxiety and student trust in the system. So we set out to create a matched sample of courses. We had 4 courses altogether, 2 lower division, 2 upper division. This was kind of nice because all of those 4 courses were taught by myself or my colleague Ping Zhang. And we were able to pretty much control in terms of identical courses, etc. And you can see the difference at UB. We had about an 11% discount or premium, depending upon your perspective, on proctored versus unproctored exams. The library people are smiling because many of these proctored exams took place in a library, correct? And we're looking forward to that this semester as well. Yeah. Of course, with the support of the administration. So we can measure things about students, and we began a hypothesis: how can you explain this difference? And we were kind enough to have access to the university record system, a number of data items on students, like prior GPA, number of web courses they've taken, percent of their courses that are web courses. That's the harder data that we're using. And we were also blessed because one of our team members, Kevin Lin, is the king of all surveys in the Merritt School of Business. So we put together a nice, validated survey measuring things like trust, measuring things like trust in this particular system. We scaled it, and at the end of the day, our goal is to explain that score differential in statistical terms. So some type of fancy econometrics, maybe. I'm pushing for straight LLS to the extent possible because that's understandable. We want to see, can these softer characteristics explain some of that score differential? I have 1 minute, so I'll finish. The purpose is to do research that is, in effect, student-friendly. We don't want the image getting out there that we're using this ProctorU solely to catch cheaters. We want to point out that there are trust issues, there are anxiety issues here, and then what can faculty do to lessen those anxiety and trust issues with the system? So that's what we're doing. We'll be done with the paper by end of May because we're presenting it at a conference. If you're interested, email me. I'll send you a copy, and I'd be interested in your thoughts because there's a lot of people in this room that know teaching and know the way it's going. So thank you very much.